Welcome back to the Rose Vault. This is session 4, A Soul's First Wound of Trust. In this hypnosis session, I am guided once again by the energies of Ma'at, my oversoul and the embodiment of balance and truth, into a symbolic lifetime that reveals where the emotion of distrust first entered the soul's story. What unfolds isn't meant to be taken as literal history, but as a living metaphor. Hypnosis, much like plant medicine or dreams, speaks in symbols, riddles, and sensations. And through these images, battlefields, armor, loss, and revelation, the subconscious shows us how emotional energy began shaping the human experience. And this session explores the origin of collective trust wounds, the burden of carrying ancestral emotions, and the role of the black sheep soul, the one who carries and comes to transmute and rewrite old patterns through love. As you listen, I invite you to take what resonates, feel deeply within, and allow the story to move through you in its own way for you. Let's step inside together of session 4, A Soul's First Wound of Trust.
Just notice where the last bits of dust need to fall into place. And with a smooth, easy breath, you can support the last bits of dust. Settle right down where they need to be, where they naturally rest. Feel a complete settling, complete ease. Now, becoming more aware of the energy of Ma.
Yes, she's coming in. Gonna settle into my body.
Okay. Just let me know when she's settled in.
That thoughts is going to come in and out of the session today too.
You can imagine a place or a container for the thoughts to move into as they come and go in this session.
He's just gonna swirl in and out as needed.
Okay.
I'm just here for support and guidance and wisdom today.
Mm-hmm.
As he said, we are one and the same.
Mm-hmm.
The masculine, feminine balance of is what we share.
How do you share the masculine and feminine balance?
With energy of duties.
Mm-hmm. And who is the masculine and who is the feminine?
Pop is the masculine and I is the feminine.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to settle Angie's body with my energy. Just one moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
We are ready now.
And who is present today? Who am I speaking with?
The energy of Ma'at, Mother of the Universe. We're one and the same.
Mm-hmm.
Us is here today, swirling in and out for support, wisdom, and guidance.
Right.
We have the archangels today and the masters. Collectively, the ascended masters. As they guide Angie now in this time of Earth.
Well, I would like to express a hello and a thank you to everyone present.
Yes, we thank you.
And so the question that we were wondering about relates to what you said last time about the 13 keys and that prophecy. So we're wondering how the 13 keys and the 13 skulls are related.
They are one and the same.
Can you tell me more about that?
She is the key to unlock a skull. Those skulls don't necessarily have to be found in physical form on this earth. If they are, that is brilliant, but if not, they are not needed, as the informations that relay from the skulls are in Angie's energy field, in her consciousness.
Okay.
He knows, well, her soul knows where that skull for her match. is. And she doesn't need to see it in physical form as she can tap into its energy and anywhere it's at to obtain the information within.
Mhm.
Her oversoul knows and taps into that information when it's necessary. But they are one and the same.
The skulls and the keys.
She's the key for that skull's information, per se.
I see. And is her key specific to one skull or is
Yes, they are all matched vibrationally to each skull. Each of the 13 has their own skull vibrational match with information stored within it
Mm,
for their key, their key to unlock. Without their energy field, their vibration, their symbols, you cannot obtain the information within those skulls. One may feel the vibrations and may unlock some DNA that's dormant in them, but they are not a key that can unlock all the information stored within that skull unless they are a 13 key.
unless they're one of the 13?
Yes.
Okay. And why skull?
It's a symbolism of the brain.
Mm,
That information is stored. Like in a human perspective, your information and knowledge is stored in your brain,
mhm,
perhaps deeper into your pineal gland, but it's still located within your brain.
mhm,
It's a symbolism where these skulls have that information stored in their brain,
mm,
but really in a crystal, because crystals, they keep information locked within them.
mhm,
And those that have a vibrational match can access that information within them.
um,
The
and
information locked in the one for Angie represents, obviously, emotions
mhm,
and gifts that stem from emotions. Creativity stems from emotions.
mm,
What she is to do, the information needs to access to remember at points and times when she needs to remember. Her oversoul taps into that skull and processes it and ignites it from its dormant state.
mm,
For example, when she goes to Egypt for her ignition and unlocking dormancy in humanity, she will be tapping into that skull.
I see.
Yes.
And who are the other 12?
We are not to say at this time as it will. Mm, Some is confidential and some haven't woken yet. But they're about to, and some have.
Mhm,
When they all awaken, they will know each other. But now is not that time, as each
mm,
one has its own path
mhm,
and its own timeline.
mhm.
We cannot have everything happen at once. It would send the wrong ripple effect out.
And so these 13 skulls and keys, how does it relate to what we've talked about so far in terms of Ma'at and her story?
We would say this is how your world works with vibration and information and crystals and prophecies. And this is part of Ma'at's story, how she came to be a 13 in this time and space, in this moment now.
Mhm,
And she holds the key to this planet, essentially. Yes?
mhm, mhm,
If emotions run the gamut of everything here, that is all Ma'at.
mhm,
And we would say Thoth as well, masculine, feminine polarity. yin yang, so forth, but is really her prophecy, her path,
Mhm.
her mission in its entirety of her soul.
Mhm.
She is the main seeder of emotions. It's a very big role. One
Mhm.
she takes very seriously.
And so throughout all this time and all these lifetimes, she's been playing her role in planting these seeds.
Yes.
And now in this lifetime, she's becoming aware of these skulls
These
and
are awakening her to understand what emotions no longer play a role in humanity going forward.
Okay. Okay.
Not only is she accessing that information in this, a therapist will call it skull, she's also tapping in and storing this information into that skull.
Mhm.
It is a back and forth process
Mhm.
of transferring information.
And what happens next?
What do you mean?
Mm. In her path of awakening this information and transferring and storing, what comes next?
She's about to uncover what gets locked away, what doesn't go forward into the new earth, of which earth is ascending into. When that split occurs, that's when those will be tossed away, or as mentioned previously, in the jar.
Mhm.
So at this time in her life, as she's moving through these difficult times, she's rediscovering and experiencing and remembering what does not go forward.
Mhm.
She's doing a bit of a cleanse, per se.
Mhm. And is there any guidance that you can give her in this process?
We would say that her cleansing process is almost complete. If she just
Mhm.
hangs in there a little longer, she will understand
Mhm.
that this process is almost complete.
Mm. And she was curious why she has so much trouble with trust and if there's something blocking trust or creating stagnation.
Yes, she's had many lives of not trusting humanity and as a collective. It's
Mm.
a big burden to carry. She comes from such vibrational love. She's a form of true unconditional love within her soul of who she is. One who's in charge of such a large project scope, we'll say,
Mhm.
must carry a large amount of love in their heart and their soul in
Mm.
order to care so much. And when she sees that people are losing sight of their heart, she's having trouble in the human world with trust.
Mhm.
And she may not understand why, because in the human perspective, you are not awoke. Yes,
Mhm.
you are not awoke to see the grand picture, to understand that this is a process.
Mm.
And since she carries a burden, per se, in her human world existence of all of these emotions, she has trust issues, lack of
Mhm.
trust
Mhm.
in humanity, more so than in anything else.
Mhm.
And this carries a density within her body.
Mhm. And what guidance can you share with her around this?
She feels it in her chest, in her heart center.
Mhm.
We would say more focus on clearing her heart center will relieve this burden of trust.
Mhm.
We will also say that we are working with her and Source to clear this burden of trust, as we see it's a big undertaking for her from a collective experience, meaning she's taking on the burden of the collective trust, not her personal trust. She feels everything collectively, and she's learning that it's not all hers, but it's very difficult when you, as you would say, the weight of the world on your shoulders. She encompasses the weight of the world in her whole body.
And
we will be clearing this trust for her in the session she signed up for later this month. We are just recording some things in the Akasha. Please hold. Thank you. You may carry forward.
Okay. So, you've talked about a certain life in 972 BC before.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if you could take us to that life to explore whatever is significant.
Yes, we will do that now.
Okay. Let me know if you need support moving to that life.
We will need just a little.
Okay. So, gathering up like the energy needed to move through time and through space back into the time of 972, where there's relevant information for this project, this book. So moving now back through time, back through space, feeling yourself moving into the body of Na'at in 972. And as you become more aware of that lifetime, you feel the density, you feel your feet landing on the ground in a time.
Treachery.
What was that?
The year of treachery.
The year of treachery. What does this
Yes.
mean?
I am a soldier at that time in a battlefield wearing gold armor and or what looks to appear like Roman clothing. And there's mass destruction and death. And smoke seems to be filling large fields of dead people, like fire, smoke. And they're fighting over land and religion.
And who is they?
The Romans
Mm-hmm.
and the Egyptians.
And what side are you on?
I'm on the Romans.
Mm-hmm. And are you male or female?
I am male.
Mm-hmm. And what's
I am
your
a general
age?
in the army, as you would call it today. I'm on a horse when I am not on the ground. I carry a very long, sharp, bladed sword on my left.
Mm-hmm.
I am strong. I don't wear much clothing, just mostly armor.
Mm-hmm.
I am bald.
How old are you?
I'm about 35.
Mm-hmm. And
I
what's
do not have a
happening?
family,
Mm-hmm.
as I serve the imperial family.
And what's happening around you and what's your emotional state right now?
My emotional state is mixed.
Mm-hmm.
It is one with anger and rage, but also sorrow, pain, and suffering. And my emotions also include confusion and curiosity of why it's happening in the first place. the blood and gore over something that I myself in that lifetime understood not to be true. Like land should be for everyone. But the part that struck my curiosity and understanding that perhaps this wasn't right, regardless of who I was protecting and stood up for, was the religious aspect in which we fought. For I myself, at that time in that lifetime, was starting to awaken already, and were having flashbacks and memories that there is no real religious construct, that there is no man per se in skin that is the ruler and creator of all, as I knew at this time. And after all of this destruction and killing and sorrow and grief and rage, I was having strong flashbacks on this field in which I stand next to my horse. It was like a backflash in a sense, understanding that there is no man, God in skin on this planet in physical form, but that source is a big ball of energetic light into which we've all been created. So I did not understand the purpose of this fighting.
And is this what you're experiencing right now as you stand next to your horse?
Yes, I'm having this like out of nowhere visions, and it's as if someone knocked me loose on the battlefield. And all of a sudden I have clarity of what is not and what is. Like an aha moment, you would call it. And then I get sad and my heart fills with grief all of a sudden. Because after I see what is and what isn't, then I look at my hands all bloody and dirty, and I put them to my face and I cry. I cry, and I'm not supposed to cry. I'm a soldier and a general, and I'm not supposed to cry because I am a man of stature and strength. But I realize what I've done, and I don't like what I've done. And so all these emotions are running through me and my body starts to shake and quiver. And it feels very uncomfortable. And then I get sick and I throw up. And these emotions are making me sick in my belly, in my liver, in my gut. And I realize I don't want to do this anymore. And I don't want to be here. And I look around the field and all I see is death. And I realize this is my first experience of death on a massive quantity over something that's not real, over something that's not real. Oh, and so I take my sword. I cannot stand it. And I put it in my belly where it hurts. And I jump out of my body, and I'm no longer there. And I'm okay that I'm no longer there. And then I realized what those emotions felt like. And I learned so much, and that was my first time of feeling that destruction and feeling that pain and seeing it and understanding that that's not how the world should be. And from that point on, that's where I lost trust. That's where I started to weigh heavy with grief in my soul. And that's where I kept coming back into so many lifetimes here to clean it up. We're cleaning it up. We're cleaning it up.
Back in that lifetime when you took your own life,
Yes.
what, if anything, was left unfinished?
There was a lot left unfinished in that life. That's when one takes their own life and jumps out before all lessons are learned. And then they have to come back again to finish where they left off,
Mhm.
but perhaps not in the exact same form of which they jumped.
Mhm.
So I had to repeat a few lives and learn how to live in it, live in the destruction, live in those choices, live within those murderous times. And I had to understand how to live through that in this dense body to truly experience and understand what it is I'm taking out of here. So these lifetimes, we tried to erase out of Angie's memory because she would just have so many nightmares, you would call it, without understanding.
Mhm.
So we are very choosy of the memories of past lives we introduce, or rather reintroduce to Angie in this lifetime.
Mm.
We would say this, that her experience under plant medicine were her lifetimes. Everything she experienced that day, those flashbacks, those feelings in her body, her mind, her spirit, her vibrational energy, everything she felt and saw is something she's experienced throughout all her lifetimes on this planet.
Mm.
So she already knows in her awakening hours. And now we're telling her to confirm. Those were all her experiences. And they were horrific for her to get to this point of the story to share with the world and to understand from an emotional perspective what no longer serves humanity, what no longer serves this planet, what no longer serves this universe.
Mm.
The significance of 972 is that was her first experience, our first experience, however you want to call it, collectively, our soul's first experience of feeling those emotions that catapulted us to dive deeper, to see and experiment on different levels of emotions. What no longer needs to be here.
Mm.
Plucking those seeds out, if you will.
So you say that that's where the trust issues first began. Is that correct?
That is correct. That's why we keep telling her to find out. So we can clear it for her. But it all starts in 972.
Mhm. So why is she still experiencing trust issues from that life? And how can that be cleared?
We will clear it for her today. As we move through this information for this book for humanity to understand,
Mhm.
anytime that you bring a trauma to the surface, acknowledge it. It is clearing it and clearing the path and healing. Shadow work is just bringing light to your shadow of acknowledgement.
Mm.
This is something we really want to record in this book because it's very important for humanity to heal from these emotions. Even when we pluck the bad emotions that no longer serve the highest good, that means they will not continue forward. That does not mean they're not still stuck and harboring form within the human's body and that soul.
Mhm.
One still needs to do that work to clear themselves. We would say that going forward, those emotions will no longer be created going forward, but they will still remain where they started until that soul is no longer on this heavenly plane. So it is important for humanity to still do their healing work. That is one of the main reasons these 13 keys are coming into this existence and awakening now to assist, to ignite and enlighten those that have gifts, to then bring forth to heal those with those emotional states blocked into their bodies, such as ancestral traumas that keep repeating themselves into the souls incarnate over generation, over generation, over generation. Some souls here incarnate in this timeline have taken on their ancestral patterns trauma due to the fact that those souls no longer are incarnating at this time in this earth. What that means is that it is the soul that is here now that took on and agreed to from their soul and within their soul families to move those traumas forward at this time in this timeline on earth. They chose to be the chosen one, you would say. They are the strong one of the soul family, per se, and they are guided by wisdom and love and strength from their soul family, from the other side of the veil as they move through this timeline in this incarnate now.
So, are you saying that in a soul family, if one soul no longer incarnates, another soul will carry on the traumas?
Yes, they have chosen
Okay.
before
Okay.
they incarnated to take
Mhm.
on that trauma of that soul who is no longer incarnate into this earth. They may move to the new earth, but this is only if this chosen soul clears that trauma in this incarnate on this earth at this time.
Okay. And why would it be passed on?
Passed on to this one soul
Yes.
at
Why
this
would it? Why wouldn't it just end with the other soul?
energy cannot be destroyed. It needs to manifest, be manipulated, and change. When you change trauma into light and love, of which they are the same, changes its form, its symbol, and can carry forward in a peaceful harmony state.
Mm-hmm.
So when one is changing trauma, the shadow, they are manipulating it into light that's lighter and not denser, and therefore can float into ascension.
I
And that
see.
energy can now ascend along with it.
So when you hear the term healing ancestral trauma,
Yes,
what does Ma'at, is this what is being described?
is what's being described.
Is this what healing ancestral trauma is?
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
This is how you heal ancestral trauma. Those souls, I believe you call them black sheep,
Mm-hmm.
and those souls are the way showers for that soul family. and they're the ones going through this healing process at this time in the grand scale. This is why you may see an uptick in more people trying to heal. They are awakening to understand they are the chosen ones. This is why you would see an uptick in plant medicines and it becoming available in more places because it assists in all of this heavy density and trauma. We see that for a black sheep, you would call it, the weight of this ancestral trauma is out of balance for their body and their soul. So it's tipping the scale, per se, as if they just had their own trauma. So those way showers will need more assistance, more modalities, stronger options to move past all those layers. Yes?
Yeah.
The problem we see is that they do not understand what and why this is happening to them at this time. And this is why we would prefer to have a chapter full of explanation for these individuals so they understand that they are the strong ones in their soul family, which is nothing to be taken lightly in a positive perspective. Yes, meaning this should be uplifting and transforming to them to hear, read, understand that they are the chosen one because they are the strong one. They are the confident one. They are the one that will not back down. They are the one that will see things through. They are the wise one within their group. Hearing that, reading that, understanding that should give a sense of confidence for them to keep going forward.
Yeah.
This book, like all books in this nature, written, being born in this nature of channeling, yes, holds high vibrations of healing and awakening. This book will be just that as well. When people read this, it's because they, before incarnating, they chose to have this book come into their hands at a certain point where they needed the most. They already planned this book to be in their hands at that time. Everything is already planned before incarnating for your first time. Time is different outside of this sphere. It moves faster as there is no time. So one may sit here in human form and think, how could one plan, let's say, 80 lifetimes down to every detail and remember all of that here? We would say it doesn't work like that outside of here. Here you seem to think life moves slow, but in all realities outside of this sphere, there's no time. It is everything now and then and ahead and simultaneously. So, into human perspective, we would say maybe it only took you 5 minutes to figure out your entire lifetimes.
I see.
But here you're living in slow motion.
And so it's important to have a chapter on healing ancestral trauma
Yes.
for those who,
Yes, we would maybe suggest the chapter be called Understanding and Moving Through Ancestral healing.
From Ma'at's perspective and knowledge.
My perspective, yeah.
Uh-huh. Understanding. Can you say that again?
Yes, understanding and healing ancestral trauma.
Okay. And when should we get into that chapter?
We've touched a lot on it now, and we can do it again in a future session at
Okay.
any point in time in the way you want to steer those questions.
Okay. And what else is important to explore today?
We are thinking.
Mhm.
We told. We would say for that chapter of ancestral healing
Mhm.
that everything is stored within the Akashic field. One can learn to tap into that field themselves
Mhm.
or get assistance to move through this ancestral healing, as it is all recorded. Let's say that soul took on all of that ancestral healing at this time, in this reality
Mhm.
and timeline, even though the Akasha would be open under their legal name as of today, they can still access all of that ancestral information because it is now part of them, which is part of taking on that trauma, meaning they can access those records as easily as through their own record.
Mm.
We see that often the perception is the opposite, that they don't feel they have confidence to tap into ancestral records because it's not them, but that is the opposite.
Mm. Mhm.
It is attached to their soul. It is attached to them now. So it is stored for them to gather.
Mm. Okay. And what else?
We would say we've covered a lot today of heavy things.
Feeling that your eyes feel ready to open and slowly, easily coming fully back into your room, allowing your breath to assist you in arriving fully here, orienting yourself, noticing contents of your room, feel of your skin. I'll stop the recording.